Is Nadeshot bad for esports as he is now under fire, but also being shown some love? There's definitely a rift as how people see this. Over the past few weeks, he's been a lot more vocal about publicly speaking about his 100 Thieves esports lineups. All of this starting a few weeks back as he talked critically and publicly about his Call of Duty lineup, that being the LA Thieves. There was a CDL minor. It was a single elimination. So you lose, you go home, and they lost. And he talked about that. And it was followed up by talking about his Valerant team as well, which has caused some people to say, hey, I like this. I like him being transparent. I like him complaining and criticizing his teams when they lose. And the flip side of that being people saying, hey, maybe this is not how you should own an esports team, which is why we're here. It's a great discussion. What do you guys think? Nadeshot being more critical publicly about his esports teams. Do you like it or not? As again, this was all sparked after their loss in that Call of Duty League minor, saying, I don't want to see our guys log off the game until the first major. Clearly the foot was taken off the gas pedal over the break. Figure it out, and directly adding the LA Thieves. And he responded to a lot of people about this, about losing that one series, how he's sure they're not happy, but he's also not happy about this. And this is where it all kind of kick-started. As even this, if you guys aren't fans of Call of Duty, caused a little bit of a scuffle and a back and forth between one of his main players. If you guys also don't know, it's an LA Thieves is a super team in the CDL. Even Nadeshot has cut his own salary to make this roster possible, and so they're supposed to be at least a top 3 lineup, if not one of the best lineups in the league, and have not, as of right now, lived up to those expectations. And one of the best players and also biggest trash talkers in the league, that being Scrap, well, he and Nadeshot had a little bit of a back and forth where Scrap was on stream saying, hey, of course I'm playing Call of Duty 10 to 12 hours a day. Like, what does he think I am? And also calling Nadeshot an effing idiot, which Nadeshot then responded to saying, hey, I shut that down right away. Like, my players are not going to talk to me like that. Like, I want to be your bro, but I'm also your owner.
At the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is that I expect the best out of these boys, no matter how big or small the match actually is. And I texted him, bro, because Scrap had words for me via text, and I shut that shit down right away. I'm like, hey, listen, Ernie, I love you to death. My wife and I, we had you over to the house. I know you're a good kid because, you know, people like to get on Scrap's ass because of all the shit he's been talking and kind of just like his aura and his presence and his attitude. But I'm telling you, bro, that kid Thomas, a.k.a. Ernie, a.k.a. Scrappy, is like a super, super nice kid. Very cordial, uses manners, like came into the house, like, asked my wife a bunch of questions about how she was doing. Honestly, he was like one of the more gentlemen that I've ever had here at 100 Thieves as a person, bro. He was just like a very normal, nice kid.
As viewers of the league, enjoyers of these esports matchups, it was awesome. It was super spicy and has added such big storylines to this Call of Duty roster of can they live up to expectations or will they crumble, as Nadeshot is publicly criticizing them. But this continued, and I would say got a bit more noted as it was a different esport. Call of Duty known for trash talk. Obviously, Nadeshot also comes from Call of Duty. He doesn't come from Valerant. Yes, he plays the game, but he's a former Call of Duty pro. So when he had this same tactic, talking about the 100 Thieves Valerant team, I would say I noticed a bit more backlash compared to Call of Duty. Like, I think that's fair to say. As he was also watch partying some of these matchups, saying 100 Thieves vow when they see a perfectly winnable round that they can throw. And of course, he mimics his old OG tweet he's had about this. It's gone viral. It's been posted all the time now whenever 100 Thieves does go on to lose. But when they actually failed to qualify for the VCT kickoff, and that means they will miss VCT Masters Bangkok, he tweeted out, my frustrations are the same as yours with our Valerant team. Feels like we're spinning our wheels in place. Gotta find some solutions soon because it feels like we're cruising at the same pace each year and it clearly is not working. Something's gotta give. And this had a lot more notable responses saying, hey, the format might suck. These tournaments are really tough because if you lose a couple series in Valorant, you could possibly not be playing for a few months, which I personally still think is a bit absurd. Some Valerant fans really enjoy that format. I've never really enjoyed it. And I think clearly Nadeshot also does not enjoy it, as he later went on to stream to try and explain all of his tweets and actually publicly talking about and criticizing all of his esports lineups, to which he did note a lot of his frustration wasn't actually stemming towards the team themselves losing, but also the fact that these losses mean so much because the format sucks, in his opinion.
I don't know if my frustration is necessarily with our team and our performance. I mean, at the end of the day, part of it has to be, right? But I think a lot of the frustration is really with the format in itself more than just solely the performance of our Valorant roster. Up until our match versus MIBR in the kickoff of 2025, our last VCT sanctioned match was on July 19th, 2024, dude. I did a quick Google search before the stream started. Bro, that's 191 days ago. All right? It has been 191 days since we watched our Valorant team compete in the VCT.
And I think for me, I enjoy this stuff, but I also really enjoy talking about it. I enjoy reading comments about it. I love having those discussions about what this esports owner is doing versus other ones who are not vocal whatsoever. So for me personally, I really enjoy this. But at the same time, I also understand how it's probably not the healthiest environment for a team to see your owner live on stream complaining or live tweeting and complaining. That probably doesn't help your mental at all. I see both sides, but it's also we're in the business of competitive gaming, right? This is kind of comes with the territory. If it's not your own owner, and I know you probably don't want to see that, everyone else is criticizing you too. I would have to imagine there are a lot worse things being said about some of these players or these teams, and it's not going to be by Nadeshot. Now, it's probably not great to see your owner saying these things, but as a casual viewer, I enjoy seeing him talk about this stuff and be honest about his frustrations. Maybe that's just me. I personally would love to see Liquid Steve, Cloud9, Jack Etienne. The Space Station guys are pretty vocal, the ones that I have spoken to. They don't mind tweeting every now and again. I love seeing Nadeshot do this. I would love to see Hex do this more. I don't think Hex does it more because that would be a headline every day if Hex and Optic talked about all these things because it's a pop-in name, obviously. But I would love to see more of these niche or lesser-known owners also speak up and share their frustrations when a team is maybe not doing as well. But again, maybe that's just me. I understand the flip side, and if any of these players want to complain, we'll probably talk about that too. But for me, one of the reasons why it's so enjoyable is you can see the flip side and it creates a narrative, a reason to actually watch these teams and follow them to see if they continue to maybe be lackluster and not meet what Nadeshot is expecting, or can they flip it around and turn it around and actually start winning, and then he'll probably give equal praise as he does criticism once they start succeeding. And I think it's a really different environment comparing Call of Duty to Valorant. I mean, in Call of Duty, that whole scrap hustle bustle that of course was started by Nadeshot's tweet and Scrap rebuttaling live on stream calling Nadeshot an effing idiot, it all ended a week later after they lost a different match. He was recording a video of all of them in his living room. For me, that's really cool because the Call of Duty community gets down with that kind of thing. Valorant, maybe not so much. I don't know. Esports is so hard to understand sometimes because every game and every community is so freaking different. But at the end of the day, I think Nadeshot just doing this is different, and I enjoy that. I want to see more owners do this. I want to see more personalities do this. We need these kind of talking points. We need these headlines, and we need these narratives actually pushing fans to have a reason to watch some of these matchups. And at the end of the day, it's Valorant versus Call of Duty. There's so many differences, whether it's the format or the scheduling. It's tough to compare those two. But I think I understand some of the frustrations. So do I think Nadeshot is bad for esports? No. I think he's certainly doing it in a very different way, to which even he himself has admitted, hey, if you don't want to be a 100 Thieves fan because I'm a crybaby back biatch owner, he totally understands. So at least he can own up to that part, because there will be people that don't want to be a fan of this, and there will be some that will be a fan of this. So to each their own. But until next time, what do you guys think about this? Yeah, you enjoy yourselves, all right? Go drink some caffeine and water. I've been telling people this, trying to tell you guys this. I'm in the process of moving, which means a new office, a new setup sometime in the near future. It's going to look worse before it looks better, but I'm super excited to be settled down finally and get back to more frequent news, which I know has been a struggle for me for a while, but I do apologize, obviously. Till next time, take care of yourselves, okay? And I'll see you back here soon.